Hey, Chuck Fresh, I'm here with Joe from Aquatic Start in Philadelphia. He does a aquarium. Well, tell us what you do, Joe. You tell us who you are and what you do.
Well, Aquatic Start is a company that basically provides service for reef aquariums, saltwater aquariums, and freshwater aquariums. We do design, setup, and maintenance for whichever system that you choose on a monthly or bi-monthly basis.
Beautiful. You doing this for a long time?
Yeah, we've been doing it about 6 years, and if we don't know the answer, we're more than willing to go talk to one of our friends or talk to the magnet community in general and find out answers for our customers.
Finding Dory's out, so I'm sure you're getting inundated with phone calls for people who want blue Tangs. Any
Yes.
Are they hard to take care of? I mean, is it something that a 7-year-old kid would want to put in their home aquarium? They probably have the clownfish already, and they want to throw it in there. So what do you tell the people who call you and ask you about these Dory fish?
Well, they are a community fish, but they have to have a larger tank. So anything that would be recommended, which would be 75 gallons or above, and then that goes part and parcel with, the old rule: the larger the tank, the easier it is to take care of.
Why is that?
The reason for that specifically is because that the water, it's a larger body of water, and it's not going to pollute as quickly as a smaller tank would.
Oh, that's sneaky. That's something I didn't know. So you got a little bit of a buffer in there, huh?
Exactly. So basically what that gives you is a little bit more time to react if something goes wrong. But if you have a proper maintenance schedule, proper feeding schedule, and sufficient lighting for the tank, you shouldn't really get into any problems.
So if you got a kid with a 25, 50-gallon tank, you're going to say no, you don't have enough room for that? Because they look pretty small.
They can get big, and they are in the surgeonfish family, so they can get a little bit on the aggressive side towards their own species only. There's a little bit of misconception out there where the surgeonfish or the hippos or yellow tangs are aggressive. They are, but they are only aggressive towards their own species. And then the way that you can get rid of that aggression is feed them in separate places in the tank, and then that tends to get rid of the aggression because they are territorial.
Well, that's good advice. So he won't come in there and he won't try to slice up Nemo, is what you're telling us.
Exactly.
What if you have like 5-10 Nemos in there and you just do one of these blue tanks? What happens then? Is he going to be able to hold his own, or?
They'll be absolutely fine. Those blue tangs are what they call hippo tangs or regal tangs. They usually do better in pairs or in schools.
Mm-hmm.
But for the most part, if you put one in there and you feed them properly, give them the nori sheets or the green algae or purple sheets, they'll do fine. And if they get a little finicky on you and it's hard to get them to feed, the pet stores do have garlic extract that you can add to the food, and that entices them to eat a little bit more.
Well, garlic. I wouldn't think of fish eating garlic. That's interesting.
Yeah, they're a little Italian there.
Yeah, right. These things are expensive, too. What's the average price you're going to get, and where should you get these? Anything we should know about buying a blue tang if we wanted to go down that road?
Absolutely. Normally, the prices start around $50, $60 on up, and it increases in price as the fish gets larger. You have small, medium, large, extra large, depending on what size tank that you have. Mm. And the one thing that I would look out for is either MACNA certified or places that the pet stores get them from regions where they don't throw those cyanide bombs into the reefs, where they damage the reefs and they damage the fish. Because what will happen is you'll get one of these fish, it'll be okay in your tank for about 9 months to a year, and suddenly it dies, and then you think you did something wrong or the service guy did something wrong, when in actuality, it died from cyanide poisoning a year back.
I've heard some about that cyanide stuff where people will go in there in tropical reefs and they'll actually, for those of you who don't know what it is, they'll actually throw a whole bunch of cyanide in the water, which will stun the fish temporarily, and then they scoop them or net them up?
Yeah, they float to the top and they scoop them up.
Oh, my God,
and then,
awful.
That's the bad way to do it. But if you get something called MACNA certified, then you're not going to run into those problems. And then the other thing that I would recommend to you is if you know that you have a pet store where you've gotten species before and you've never had any problems, stick with that particular pet store because they know what they're really doing as far as acclimating them and or buying them from reputable dealers.
Good information. Always get a reputable dealer and just stick with them, huh?
Exactly.
So as far as the diet goes, if you're feeding them what you would feed the clownfish, can you feed them the same thing, or is there's the vegetable stuff and is the other
they
stuff?
have a totally different diet from clownfish. Clownfish are more of omnivores, so they'll eat anything, from plant-based to, herb-based.
Okay.
So the surgeonfish, any kind of surgeonfish, whether it's a yellow tang or a hippo tang or, the blue tang, it's the same name, they're herbivores strictly. So you have to give them a diet that, they sell these sheets in the best way to feed them, the natural way for them to encourage their grazing is to roll it up kind of like a cigarette, take a rubber band and attach it to a rock, and then let that rock sink to the bottom of the tank and watch them go at it. They really enjoy that.
Will the clownfish eat that too?
Some of the clownfish will, because they'll go for both foods. Clownfish are very opportunistic. They'll go for anything that's there.
Yeah, because a lot of people are saying, hey, don't get these Dory fish. They're incredibly hard to take care of. They're aggressive. They're going to get to a foot long. And now you're telling us we have to change the diet. So it sounds like a little bit more work than the average home hobbyist aquarium person should really get involved in.
You want to talk to someone responsible who will teach you about it, go to Barnes & Noble or Amazon.com and pick up a book on the species and then read a little bit about it and what it takes to take care of them. And as long as you have good water quality and a good maintenance schedule for your tank and a good feeding schedule for your tank, they'll be just fine. They're not extremely difficult. It's just that you have to do steps from A to C or A to Z to make sure that they're okay.
All right, Joe Aqua, how do we get in touch with you, or how does somebody get in touch with you if they need you to set them up with their Dory and Nemo setup or just for aquarium maintenance?
You can check us out on the web at aquaticstart.com. The numbers are there for the particular region of the Northeast that you're in, and then we'll get back to you and hook you up.
All right. Well, thanks for coming on the air with us, Joe. It was great talking to you.
Thanks for having me.
And great information. And stay tuned to our channel. We'll have some more tips and tricks about aquarium maintenance and fish and all kinds of aquatic fun coming up real soon.